Hello, everybody. Let's start today's lesson straight away. Today is 18th February 2023. I hope I am clear. I hope everybody can listen to me, can hear me. I hope everybody is well. I am well too. I am moving on. And today we are moving on to lesson 6. I have divided this lesson into two. Note that we are going to skip lesson 5 for the moment. We will come to that later because that is risk management, and we should talk about risk management after we have understood some of the aspects of emerging cybercrime trends. So I think it is important for us, first of all, to look at what is in this presentation, which is a business email compromise, cryptocurrency scams, cloud-based attacks, and then part 2 mentions a lot about information of things focused attacks, and then hacking as a service, and then ransomware as a service. So let's start with lesson 6, and then we shall go back to lesson 5, where we shall be talking about risk management. We can only speak about risk management after we have understood what kind of threats are we facing, and how are these threats committed, and how can we prevent them, so that we can discuss risk management. That is why I have decided to structure it in this way. So we are going to begin today. I hope everybody is ready. I hope you have your notebooks where you note things as we move along. Having said that, my name is Wayne, and let's proceed. We are going to look at a business email compromise, otherwise abbreviated as BEC. We are going to look in brief at cryptocurrency scams. We are going to look at cloud-based attacks in this part 1 of this module. Then we say, what is business email compromise? Business email compromise, BEC, is an email-based fraud technique that is designed to allow an attacker to gain unauthorized access to confidential information or extract money through fraudulent requests for payment or wire transfers. It is an email-based fraud technique, email-based, that is designed to allow an attacker to gain unauthorized access to confidential information or extract money through fraudulent requests for payment or wire transfer. How does it work? BEC attack typically rely on the ability of the attacker to impersonate a well-known individual in an organization, e.g., the CEO or a trusted external contact, partner, or entity. So impersonation, a person impersonates as the CEO, a person impersonates as the security manager, a person impersonates as the financial director, and then proceeds to write these emails and requesting for money transfers or money transactions or request for classified or personal information. This can be achieved in various ways, but the most common methods include, so when we say this can be achieved in most ways, but the most common methods include, we mean that apart from the methods that we are going to mention here, there are other methods that can be used in business email compromise. It means there are other methods. This is not exclusive. So the methods that we are going to mention are email domain spoofing, lookalike email domain, and email account compromise. We are going to look at email domain spoofing, lookalike email domain, and email account compromise. Remember, as businesses are moving their business online since the emergence of the COVID-19, and also not only the COVID-19, advancement in technology, most organizations are moving to working remotely. I have seen even advertisement for jobs of security managers working remotely, security directors working remotely, security analysts working remotely. This is where the world is going, that people will be working online. And as people continue to start to work online at a larger and a larger number that is growing, in particular organizations all over the world, so are the crimes associated with the online work increase. Cyber criminals increase. Cyber crimes increase as people continually increase to start working online. So take a note of that. They will continue to increase as we move along. So we start with email domain spoofing, and then we look at lookalike email domain, and then email account compromise. Email domain spoofing. Email address verification is not built into the email protocol, SMTP. Take note of that by default. This means that an attacker can take the display name and send address of an email to make it look like it came from inside the company or a trusted vendor. An attacker takes the email display name and send address of an email to make it look like it came from inside the company or a trusted vendor. SMTP allows the sender to define a different address to send replies to ensuring they receive any responses. This means that the attacker structures it in such a way that they send the email as if they are the CEO of the organization, and the email replies come to them. They don't go to the CEO. They come to them, the impersonator. Lookalike domains. Lookalike domains indicate that are designed to take advantage of characters that can be easily confused. For example, the domain name company.com is very similar to company.com. They look similar enough that they could be confused. They could fool anybody to thinking that if you are you are receiving emails from company.com and you receive an email from company.com, then you are likely going not to pick it, and you'll be confused, and you will respond to the email, and you will share sensitive information, and you will share sensitive data that will lead to compromise of your systems and to compromise of your information. Compromised accounts. If an attacker has access to a legitimate account, they can use it in a business email attack. This adds a level of authenticity because the email is actually coming from a trusted address. So compromised email accounts. A business email account attack takes advantage of a seemingly legitimate email address to trick the recipients into taking certain action. The most common goal of a business email account attack is to convince the target to send money to the attacker while believing that they are performing a legitimate authorized business transaction. So if it is a finance director, he proceeds to send money, wire transfer money to a particular attacker, thinking that they are sending money to legitimate authorized. It is a legitimate authorized receiver. Contrary to that, it is an attacker who has compromised the system through compromised accounts. Types of business email compromise attacks. We have several types of email compromise attacks, and the FBI defines 5 of them as below. False invoice scam. In this attack, the phisher pretends to be a vendor requesting payment for services performed by the company. Often, the type of attack will masquerade as one of an organization's actual suppliers and use a realistic template, but change the bank account information to an account controlled by the attackers. Let me tell you one thing. These things are happening a lot, especially in our country, in Kenya. There are a lot of fraudulent false invoice scams. That one I know for a fact as a security manager in the hotel industry, in the other private sector. There are a lot of false invoice scams. Some are insider jobs, Some are insiders colluding with outsiders. Your employees in a particular department, especially procurement, supplies, accounts, they collude with other people outside the organization. They stage false invoice scams and they steal from the organization. This is happening at the private level, also at the government level. It is happening at the private level and also at the government level. And it is your responsibility as a security professional to be on the lookout for these scams, because they cost organizations millions and millions of money each year. CEO fraud, that is another category of business email compromise, as indicated by FBI. CEO fraud. CEO fraud takes advantage of power dynamics within a company. The attacker will send an email, supposedly from the CEO, instructing the recipient to take some action. This may be to make a wire transfer, to close a business deal, or sending sensitive information to a partner. Account compromise is another category. That is number 3. This is where business email compromise attack takes advantage of a compromised email account within an organization. With this access, the attacker can request invoice payments from customers while changing the payment details to those of an attacker. So somebody outside your organization is asking for payment from your customers, from your clients, and channeling the payments to a different account rather than the legitimate company account or the legitimate supplier account, using account compromise. So they send invoices, they send information for requesting for payments from your customers, and this amount is channeled to a fraudulent account. We also have Anthony impersonation, and here also you need to be very careful as a security professional, or as a cyber security analyst, or as a cyber security professional. Anthony impersonation, mostly in our cases, when a person appears to you and tells you, I'm an Anthony, I'm a lawyer, I am a police officer, I am a government worker. Most of us in the security industry, we fail to follow up critically to ascertain or to prove that indeed this person is who he says he is. We are mostly put on our defense. This should not be the case. You should stick to your ground and find out exactly if this person is genuine. In this type of attack, the person takes advantage of the fact that low-level employees within an organization are likely to comply with the requests from a lawyer or a legal representative because they don't know how to validate the request. Validation is meaning how to prove, to ascertain the authenticity of the request. This approach often makes the request seem time-sensitive and confidential to prevent independent verification. I hope you can understand that by yourself. I don't really need to explain that. So, Anthony, compromise. And then we talk of data theft. Business email compromise can also take the form of data thefts. Attacks are not only designed to steal money from a company. This type of attack targets HR and finance personnel and attempts to steal sensitive information about an organization or an enterprise. This information can then be sold on the dark web or used in planning and executing future attacks. So you have to be very, very careful about data theft. This is some of the things that are of great importance to us to understand. How to prevent against business email compromise attacks. I will just mention a few things because we are going to go again to how to prevent cyber crimes in later lessons. So here I'm just opening your eyes or your mind into what we shall be learning. A successful business email compromise attack can be extremely costly and damaging to an organization. However, these attacks can be defeated by taking a few simple email security precautions, including anti-phishing protections. Since business email compromise emails are a type of phishing deploying anti-phishing solutions are essential to protecting against this. An anti-phishing solution should be capable of identifying the red flags of a business email compromise and defend against it. And then also we say employee education. Employee education is very important. Business email attacks target an organization's employees, making email security awareness training vital for cybersecurity training is very, very, very important to employees. You as a security manager, you as a security professional, you as a security supervisor, please develop yourself for an aspect. And I said this earlier in other courses that we have been teaching people. Learn how to train people, learn how to create security awareness presentations, learn how to put people together and share knowledge about security. You will be adding value to the organization. You know, you as a security personnel or you as a cyber security analyst, you should be able to add value to the organization. And one way to add value to the organization is to conduct email security awareness forums where you teach people about protection measures that can safeguard against business email compromise. Another also solution or another protection measure is separation of duties. Business email attacks try to trick employees into taking a higher risk action, like sending money or sensitive information without verifying the request. Implementing policies for those actions that require independent verification from a second employee can help to decrease the probability of a successful attack. So separation of duties. Labeling external emails. Business email compromise attacks commonly try to impersonate internal email addresses using domain spoofing, as we have mentioned earlier, or lookalike domains. Configuring email programs to label emails coming from outside of the company as external can help to defeat this tactic. So you have to advise the IT professionals or the IT people in the organizations to learn how to label. So labeling of emails as external is very, very important, because the moment you receive an email, you will see that this is an external email and it will raise your antennas. When it raises your antennas, before you can click the link that is maybe compromised, you have already in your mind that this is an external email. So that is one area to look at. And then also in a summary, prevention of this business email compromise to an organization is to promote a culture of cyber vigilance among employees, regularly share cyber hygiene tips and news on current scam or phishing cases, conduct regular phishing drills, and remind employees to verify the authenticity of emails, especially those that are suspicious or unsolicited, enforce the use of strong passwords, and enable two-factor authentication. And what we say is that institute a password policy to ensure that all users use strong passwords, i.e. at least 12 characters with uppercase and lowercase numbers, letters, numbers, and special characters. Avoid even on your phone using the password of your birth date. You write it from behind moving forward, and then you say that is a password. Or your name. If your name is Evans, you use a password SVAN. S1. So now it is very easy for a person to compromise this one. Or some people also use passwords like 123456 or 654321 or ABCD. These are not passwords. These are very weak passwords. Always use strong passwords. Even your mobile phone, if you want to protect it, use strong passwords comprising of at least 12 characters with upper and lower case letters, numbers, and special characters. And then enable two-factor authentication. We are going to learn more about two-factor authentication. However, where possible, as an additional layer of security to prevent unauthorized access to an email account if the password has been compromised. Two-factor authentication. Can you check on your own what do we mean by two-factor authentication, and how can we enable two-factor authentication? I think that one should also be an assignment. How can we enable two-factor authentication? And what is two-factor authentication when we talk about protection of email accounts or email access? And then we are not going to dwell so much on cryptocurrency scams, but I'll just mention a few words. What is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a type of digital currency that generally exists only electronically. This is digital currency that exists only electronically. You usually use your phone, computer, or cryptocurrency ATM to buy cryptocurrency. Bitcoin and Ether are well-known currencies, but there are many different these type of currencies, and new ones keep being created. This is a very advanced area that is needs a lot of research also before you can understand how this thing works. I see some people here in Kenya or back here home in Kenya saying that they are investors, they are dealing in cryptocurrency scams and whatever, but it is a very complex area where it needs deep knowledge of how this Bitcoin and how these things work and how you can get money from it. However, remember, there is a lot of scam and fraudulent activities through these currencies. How do people use these currencies? People use these currencies for many reasons. Quick payments to avoid transaction fees that traditional banks charge, or because it offers some secrecy. Others hold cryptocurrency as an investment, hoping the value goes up. I can tell you there are people who are really benefiting from these things, but only those who are very knowledgeable about how to go about it. How do you get this currency? You can buy this currency through an exchange, an app, a website, or a cryptocurrency ATM. Some people earn these currencies through a complex process called mining, which requires advanced computer equipment to give highly complicated math puzzles, to solve highly complicated mathematics puzzles. Where these things are stored, the currencies are stored in a digital wallet digitally. That is something that maybe you just need to know. And then paying with this currency, there are many ways that paying with the currency is different from paying with a credit card or other traditional payment methods. However, just remember that with the credit cards and debit cards, they have legal protections. If something goes wrong, for example, if you need to dispute a purchase that was made on your credit card or your debit card, then your card company has a process to help you get your money back. But with the cryptocurrency, there is no way. Typically, there are no such protections. Once you lose your money is gone. Or once you discover there has been a fraudulent transaction, it is very difficult to even to discover what happened and to solve it. And then also, I think I'm sitting in not a very good position. And then also, payments are not reversible. Payments through cryptocurrency are not reversible. Before you buy something with these currencies, know the seller's reputation by doing some research before you pay. Some information about your transactions will likely be public. Remember that. People talk about cryptocurrency transactions as anonymous, but the truth is that that is not simple. These currencies transactions typically be recorded on a public ledger called blockchain. That is a public list of every currency transaction, both on the payment and on the receiving end. Also, how to avoid these scams. Scammers are always finding new ways to steal your money. using these currencies. To steer clear of this type of currencies, here are some things to know. Only scammers demand payments in this currency. No legitimate business is going to demand you to send currencies in advance, not to buy something and not to protect your money. That's always a scam. When you hear they demand money upfront before you can purchase anything, then you already start to raise your antennas that this could already be a scam. I want to try and move to an area where light is a little better because it is night at my end and it is a little dark. I'm afraid all you can see is a dark man. So I'm trying to position myself where maybe in this room where I am, where you can see me. I think maybe here you can see me. So only scammers demand payment in these currencies, and then only scammers will guarantee profit or big returns. Where you hear there's a big return, that you invest 100,000 and you will earn 200,000 immediately, or invest 50,000 and you will earn 200,000 immediately, then you already start to realize that you could be dealing with a fraudulent entity or a fraudulent person, a person who wants to scam you. And then also, never mix online dating and investment advice. If you meet someone on a dating app or if you meet someone on a dating site or app and they want to show you how to invest in these currencies or ask you to send them these currencies, that is a scam. If it is dating, it is dating. Nowadays we meet people online, we date online, and some dates have been very successful. Some dates have ended up in marriage. Some dates have ended up in very big disasters. Some people have even died after meeting people you are dating online. So you have to be very careful how you deal with these people. If you have met somebody online and suddenly they turn their attention from the relationship that is developing to requesting you to send them cryptocurrency or to send them money transfers online, immediately you have to understand that that one is a scam. And then examples of these scams, we have investment scams. Investment scams often promise you can make lots of money with zero risk and often start on social media or online dating apps or sites. These scams can, of course, start with unexpected text, email, or call. And with investment scams, crypto is central in two ways, or it can be both the investment and the payment. Business, government, and job imposters. I really don't need to talk about this because it is already something that you know. This is already some things that you know. But scammers pretend to be someone you trust or convince you to send them money by buying and sending these currencies. Scammers impersonate well-known companies. These come in several ways, and scammers might say they are from Amazon, Microsoft, FedEx, Safaricom, Airtel, or other entity, your bank, Equity, Cooperative, or KCB, or many other entities. They'll text, call, email, or send message on social media, or maybe put a pop-up alert on your computer. Scammers impersonate new or established business offering fraudulent crypto coins or tokens. They'll say the company is entering the currency world by issuing their own coins or tokens. They might create social media ads, news articles, or use other avenues to try and look for people to buy in their currencies. So you have to be very careful with the scammers impersonating as new or established businesses. You have seen in Kenya there have been a lot of fraudulent people have been frauded in so many ways in the name of especially Safaricom. People have been frauded, and it is still happening even as we are learning today. And then also there are scammers who impersonate government agencies, law enforcement, or utility companies. You know, you remember, I don't need to say about this. There is some years back, some months back, there were some people who were selling electricity tokens online. And then when you send money, the number they send you is fake. When you go to input into your meter, it doesn't load. So this is things that you know, and you have to protect yourself. Then scammers list fake jobs on job sites. They might even send unsolicited job offers related to these currencies, like jobs helping recruit investors selling or mining currency, or helping convert cash to crypto. But these so-called jobs only start if you pay a fee in cryptocurrency. So they also lose, even without the actually basing our discussion on only on cryptocurrency. You have known scammers who use job sites to get money, to con people. They tell you that we have a job offer, it is in Dubai, and all you need to do is first to pay your air ticket, which is 100,000 shillings. Send this money to this number immediately, because chances are limited. Only few people are required. We need only 5 people. We already have 4. It is only remaining 1 person. Then we can proceed. So when you hear that it is remaining only 1 person, then you say that is my chance. Then you pay $100,000 and you end up losing your money. So be very careful with these scammers. This is one type of attack these scammers use. And then to avoid business, government, and job impersonators, know that no legitimate business or government will email, text, or message you on social media to ask for money. No legitimate government, business, or social media will text you asking money online, and they will never demand that you buy or pay with cryptocurrency. Never click on a link from an unexpected text, email, or social media message, even if it seems to come from a company you know. Never click on these links. Issue ya sisi kuwa tuna rush, you see an email, before even you read the headline, you are already clicking the link because you are confused or something like that. First of all, try to verify the origin of the email before you can click on the link or on the attachment. It could be a phishing scam. Also, never click on a link from an expected text. We have spoken about that. Don't pay anyone who contacts you unexpectedly demanding payment with cryptocurrency. Never pay a fee to get a job. Never pay a fee to get a job. Never pay a fee to get a job. Many people have lost money through these kind of schemes, that you are told pay a certain amount of money to get a job. You have seen even with the military recruitment, that or in the police recruitment, some people are told pay 1 million shillings before we can guarantee you a job as a recruit. So never pay money to get a job. If someone asks you to pay upfront for a job, or says to buy this type of currency as part of your job, it is a scam. Blackmail scams. Scammers might send emails or mail to your home saying they have embarrassing or compromising photos, videos, or personal information about you. Now, please be very careful as a security professional. Be very careful as a cybersecurity analyst, as a cybersecurity professional. Don't ever share compromising photos, videos, or personal information online. There is what we call digital footprint. Whatever you share, even if you delete, it is still remains, it is somewhere. So the photos that we share, especially nude photos, this is very, very risky. It might one day be used against you. Photos of our partners, photos of our children, photos of sensitive documents. You get people, even a person who has bought a plot and piga picha hiyo title deed na anatuma, anasema I thank God for this achievement. You are giving out in your personal very sensitive information. You open an account with KCB, unapiga picha kadi ya bank yako, unatuma kwa social media, unasema and now I'm a 3 account holder. I hold an account with the Standard Bank, I hold an account with the KCB, I hold an account with you are giving out very sensitive information. Be very, very careful with the photos, videos, or personal information that you share online. Then they threaten to make it public unless you pay them in cryptocurrency. Don't do it. This is blackmail and a criminal extortion attempt. Report to law enforcement immediately. And even before you report to law enforcement, if I am the police officer in charge where you are making the report, I'll ask you if I can confirm that you posted the photos yourself. I'll first question you how the photos reached social media or how the information reached social media, and put questions into your integrity as a professional person. Let's talk a little bit about cloud-based attacks. The popularity of cloud computing has seen a rise in recent years, thanks to big players like Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, who will provide cloud computing platforms. The technology, which began as a backup storage, option, has now become an all-inclusive computing platform that has brilliantly altered the way organizations use, store, and share information. Cloud technology started as a backup storage, that a company keeps information in the cloud as backup, that if something should happen to their operational information, wherever they are, then they have a backup in the cloud where they can access this information, access the company secrets, access the company formulas, and continue in operations. However, it has become an all-inclusive computing platform that has fundamentally altered the way organizations use, store, and share information. As cybersecurity professionals are aware, however, anything that becomes popular in the digital world will inevitably become a target of malevolent cyber actors. That cloud computing platforms are no longer different. In recent years, the number of attacks on these platforms has increased rapidly. Incidentally, cloud cyber attacks accounted for 20% of cyber attacks in 2020, making cloud computing platforms the third most targeted cyber organization, that is the most targeted entity. It is now cloud computing. Cloud computing is the third most targeted by cyber criminals in 2020. Now, what is a cloud attack? Any cyber attack that targets off-site services platforms that offer storage, computing, or hosting services via their cloud infrastructure can be classified as a cloud cyber attack. This can include attack on service platforms that utilize service delivery models like SaaS, IaaS, and PaaS. We have examples of the largest cloud attacks in recent years. You read about the CAM4 2020, read about Advanced Info Service AIS 2020, read those sections, and also read another example of the KeepNet Lab 2020 and the Microsoft 2019 attack. Read about those examples of the largest cyber attacks in recent years. You can see here we are talking of 2019, 2020. I want you to think about 2021, 2022, 2023, which are the major cyber attacks that have been reported in the media all over the world. You can check those areas. And then preventing cloud cyber attacks. Prevent cloud cyber attacks by implementing powerful cloud security measures. Every day we are going to look at these measures later. Every day a greater number of organizations adopt cloud services to facilitate their move to a remote work environment and increase collaboration between global team players. As adoption increases, so do the vulnerabilities. By understanding cloud security basics and some of the most common vulnerabilities, we can therefore be able to protect attacks against the cloud storage, cloud cyber. I will ask Fred to, after this, give you a few break, and then you can immediately start part 2 of this presentation. Part 2, we shall be talking about Internet of Things focused attacks, hacking as a service, and then ransomware as a service. Those are areas that I mentioned in part 2. Don't worry, put these things together, read through these things. As we develop through the course, you will start to remember them one by one. Some of them will be repetitive as we go along, but that is the basis of making our understanding deeper and clear. Thank you very much for the time time being. We'll instruct that you have a break, and you remember the assignments. I have not heard from your class rep. I need the contact of your class rep. Tell them to send me an email or a WhatsApp message. Ask Fred or Chris to give you my contacts, both email and WhatsApp. Send me your class rep contact, because I want to send the notes to the class rep. Please follow up on that. Thank you very much, and I will see you another weekend, next coming weekend. Thank you.